don't wanna see me. Did a full 180, crazy, thinking about the way I was. Did the heartbreak change me? Maybe, but look at where I ended up. I'm all good already.
All right, guys, it's Wednesday morning. That means another episode is being filmed of 3 Dudes Watch the Bachelor. We're down one dude, but we'll get to that in a minute. We are up to like episode 64, 74 of The Bachelor. I don't know, it never ends. He had like 84 girls last week. We're down to 4. But thank God ABC only made us watch 2 hours of the crap this week instead of 5. We are still extremely pissed.
Dude, he was cutting. I mean, he was cutting them like crazy.
He's been cutting them like crazy. So thank God, no 5 hours this week. I actually have Wednesday night to myself and I have to watch that crap. So anyway, Gary Pickren, Chris Cloud, Jonathan Stackhouse is busy working. Can you imagine that, working instead of doing this show?
He needs a write-up.
He needs a write-up. I'm going to have to write him up.
Write him up.
His boss, we got problems with him. This might be because he's on the real estate commission. They might be getting mad about that. I don't know. Anyway, we got 2 awesome guests today. Our first guest is Mackenzie Johnson. I almost forgot her last name, Mackenzie Johnson. She is a junior at South Carolina. She's a basketball cheerleader. Imagine that. We have a lot of basketball cheerleaders come in here.
She also takes care of his kid.
Yes.
And he forgot her last
Yes, my wife's very mad about me asking her. My wife's like, do not ask her to do your stupid show. She did say that. And my daughter's like, just rolled her eyes and says, I can't even watch this crap. So anyway, and then our second guest is Anna Hyde. She is also a senior at Carolina? Junior at Carolina. She's also a basketball cheerleader. That makes 4 basketball cheerleaders we've had this year, and a former Miss South Carolina team. So we're doing pretty good on our 18 to 25.
Imagine that we have cheerleaders.
We're working on our 18 to 25-year-old demographic. So we've been working hard. So Anna is like the queen of TikTok. She has like 150,000 followers on what? Instagram? More than that. I mean, it's ridiculous. These 2 girls broke TikTok one night, I think, because they had so many views, like 3 million views every time they do a video. In fact, we all were watching on Bleacher Report or one of those that talked about Barstool, who actually wrote a story on them about how they own TikTok. So if you're over 50, you're like me. You're like, what the hell's TikTok? I don't know either. If you're under 25 years old,
What?
but if you're under 25 years old, you're like, holy cow, I can't believe they're on the show. So yeah.
Hey, but we're totally getting cool points with our kids because my daughter knows who they are.
Yes, yes. And my son was like, I'm skipping school and coming today. And I'm like, no, you're not. So anyway, by the way, you have to do lots of videos for our kids after this. I don't know if you'll do that. All right, so let's talk about our show. Peter and his 6 flight attendants, they head off to Chile. I feel like all they're trying to do now is go to Spanish-speaking cities so they can show that the guy has Spanish 202 from college. I mean, y'all probably speak better Spanish than this guy, but I think Kelsey at one point said, why does this guy keep speaking Mexican? And Hannah Ann's like, what's he saying? Are they talking about me?
Every time they read the date card, they try to sound it out, but none of they're like, where are we getting me?
It was very painful watching Hannah Ann try to read.
She was like,
vamos. I mean, it was like, by the time it's like, just tell the person's name. Nobody cares anymore. So I thought it was funny when he starts the show and he immediately goes to the girl's house or their hotel, and instead of his usual apology, because usually he apologizes every 3 weeks. I'm sorry, I'm such a terrible bachelor.
Yeah, he didn't apologize this month.
He did not apologize, but he begged. I mean, was that attractive to y'all?
I don't know.
No.
I think he's a little immature.
Yeah,
He's a little. He's
I
really
don't like
whiny
him
too.
at all. Like,
Yeah.
he's annoying. Like,
I was excited for him to be the Bachelor. Now I'm just kind of over it.
He is the biggest dork
Yeah,
I've
I
ever
feel like he's
seen
like a
in my whole
goofball.
life.
I mean, I think he went because he was like, okay, dude.
And I'm tagging you in this picture.
So he's got the fantasy dates coming up, and so he's got 3 fantasy dates that he really wants to go on. And so he's like, man, I don't want to ruin my chance with 3 of these women. So I think he's really freaking out about, I'm going to pick these girls, and they don't like him because none of us like them. I mean, I don't think they like him. Do y'all think anybody on the show likes him anymore other than, well, she's gone. That what was the crazy girl, McKenna?
Yeah.
She's
gone.
I feel like based on like everything I've seen on Twitter, literally everybody only likes Madison. Like the rest are like, and we almost like wanted
Who
to
called
leave.
Madison from day one?
I actually did.
That was me.
Like, everybody was like,
I
this
loved her.
Because I went to Auburn and she's my Auburn girl.
Hannah Ann is a little. She's just not all there. I don't think.
Dude, they put
She's a little
on
slow.
some weight. Them girls are thick.
Yeah.
You see how thick they're getting?
I was quite surprised by that,
Dude,
too.
them girls been eating Twinkies and little Debbie cakes.
They've been drinking lots. But let's talk about Peter. What's going on with Peter? I think Peter doesn't need a wife. He needs a therapist.
He needs to get that fixed on his head is what he needs to do. That's what he needs to do.
I mean, this guy, all he cares about is an emotional woman. I mean, you can't be like Kelly was like, I like you. You're fun to hang out with. He's like, that's not good enough. I need tears.
No, yeah, he needs like he needs a sob story from them, and they're like, no, I'm fine, or like, dude, and he's like, okay, but like, what's really wrong? Like, he wants them to like cry. And
Right.
I'm like,
It's so
it can be
weird.
okay.
It can be, as Kelly even said that, we can have fun and it can be a good relationship.
He said
It doesn't have
fun.
to be hard.
And if you think about it, they've only been together for what, like a month or two, and he wants them like breaking down, sobbing to him.
I think he's
I don't know.
so surprised that these women are not just like, none of them are really, other than crazy McKenna, none of them are really like dropping at his feet.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
Well, and, it comes down to his choice. He has a successful lawyer or this Sonic model who really is there for Instagram.
Slinging corn dogs.
Literally.
She's there for Instagram followers, so of course he going to pick the Sonic model, and
Right.
then he has this girl who's like yelling at him about how moody he is, and this other girl's like, hey, it's fun hanging out with you. I think we could be really good friends, and because friendship has no basis in marriage apparently with this dude.
No.
I mean, how many girls does he send home going, I just feel like we're friends. I can't be your friend
He
and
hears the
marry
word
you.
friend or fun or like chill, and he's like,
Yeah.
nope.
No friend, no fun. My
No.
wife cannot be friendly or
It's a
fun.
serious
She's got to be
business.
crazy as hell, like
she's gotta
Victoria.
cry all the time.
Yeah, and she's got to tell me I'm moody, and it's got to be hard because that's apparently what he thinks marriage is. So he's headed for like 3 divorces. I mean, this guy, I mean, he needs therapy like today. So we move right into we had 3 one-on-ones. We start with our girl Madison on a 1-on-1, and it was actually kind of boring. I thought it was kind of.
Wait a minute, no, it wasn't.
I just love her.
Yeah.
She's so cute.
But she's like, I can see us together at the end of the show, and I'm like, I'm kind of confused because I don't even see y'all together on the show. This is the first time since week 1 you actually had any one-on-one time with
She
them.
stole week 1, and then she's just been sitting in the back.
Well,
you know?
he also like said he's falling in love with her, and she didn't say it back. And I was like,
Dude.
this is the first time I've ever heard the Bachelor
Yeah.
say it and the person not say it back.
This is a reversal of roles. We talked about this weeks ago when Ashton or Hannah were on there. We talked about that then because it's like all of a sudden he's no longer the Bachelor. It's like they're going to vote him out. It's like
literally.
he's standing there. Will you give me a rose? will you give me a rose?
The other
I mean,
week
will
with
somebody-
Alea,
will
I thought
somebody?
they were all gonna walk out. Like when he
Earlier,
brought her
yeah, I
back,
thought they were all gonna
I
leave.
thought they were all gonna leave.
And so now the roles have been reversed, and so now it's like I love you, and she's like, that's cute.
That's so
That's
good to
really
hear.
cute. I'm surprised she
I
didn't
know.
say that's so
I had
cute.
that. I had that like 5 seconds where I was like, all right, somebody,
we were like, somebody please.
somebody
stop.
say
Say
something.
something,
Yep,
yeah.
I feel
somebody.
bad for her because she like opened up about like everything, and like he literally just like was like, yeah, I
stared.
want a family too.
30 minutes of the
It's not
show
what I
was her
wanted to
talking.
hear.
Like I was
Yeah.
like,
But I think I know more about you from your Instagram posts than I know about her. I mean, seriously. I mean, she's like,
yeah, I
what do we
think
know about her? She's from Auburn, or Auburn.
Auburn.
Is the
Dude,
dude. You have no. He needs to turn in his.
you
man
should
card,
see our
first of
text
all.
messages during the show. Mine and Gary's text messages. I mean, it's like, did he just say Auburn?
He needs to turn in his man card because clearly he knows nothing about sports.
He is like
And these women are
two
ruining him.
stamps away from getting it taken from him.
I mean, it's bad, but she's like, we know nothing about her. What's your, what do you want? What does he want in life? And they're acting like I can see ourselves together in the future. You don't even know if he wants kids yet. And it's
Yeah,
crazy.
No, they talked about kids.
Did
like
they?
2 episodes ago. You don't remember? They were like, we can ride the
I
rides
think-
at the amusement park.
I think Dad is at home with this basketball ready to throw it at the TV saying, take your hands off my virginal daughter. I mean, I really do.
No.
Just take your hands off of her. And when they were laying there on was that boat makeout scene not the weirdest thing?
Oh, it was so weird.
How comfortable could that have been laying on that hard plastic
I know.
top of that boat with a
Hey, but
fishing
they were
net?
posed pretty good, though. You know the producer's like, no, leg that way, leg that way.
They have to
Arm
because the
that
girl
way.
always looks so pretty.
Yeah,
like, I don't
from that
know.
angle.
Remember, I was saying last
You're
night, I was
like,
like, I would look terrible from that angle. It was like down here, and I don't know. They have to pose them.
Well, I think
somehow.
Dad's pissed. I mean, there's no way
Oh,
that
yeah.
man is not at home screaming at the television. And his
And
mother.
she's watching it with him for sure. Like,
Oh.
It's so awkward.
I can tell you,
Ooh, no, I'd be like, no, I'm going out for the night.
I don't need to hear or see any of that. and this whole thing about the windmill, they even brought the picture back of the windmill. He was standing there in the square looking at the picture of the windmill. How much do you think her dad really likes this whole windmill story? I mean,
Oh, God,
that don't
not
play
at all.
south of Huntsville.
No.
South of Huntsville, that don't. I mean, Daddy ain't gonna like that. I mean, Daddy's probably got his gun ready for when boy shows up.
Probably.
I mean, it's not going to happen. So her big reveal, obviously, was she was religious, and she goes, I want a man who's going to be the religious head of the family. And this is how long he sat there. He
Oh.
goes,
he's like, what do I say? What do I say? What do I say?
what do I say? And then I think in his head he was like, but we got the fantasy date coming up in a couple of days. What does that matter? What does that mean? Are you or are you not into this fantasy date thing?
Yeah.
So immediately when she threw the religion out, he's thinking, oh my God, she might be a virgin. Don't you
Yeah.
think?
Oh
You
yeah.
can see his, like,
You could see all the
head
wheels
spin.
The
turning.
little mouse was going in his head, and now he's all concerned. But he didn't really go for the religion thing, did he?
No.
And Freddie's like, okay, that's cool, whatever you want me to do. He's the kind of guy that if you tell him you're into cheerleading, I'm into cheerleading. I'm into football, I like football. Whatever you like, I'll like, because that's my role as a husband, is to please you, because I have no role any other way.
And I think he's a little desperate at this point. He just wants to be.
He's definitely desperate.
Agree with them.
He's definitely desperate, because I think he thinks that they're all going to walk out on him.
Yeah.
And I could definitely see that.
He got scared like week 2. Like he got scared. He was like, "Oh shit, they're about to all leave."
Week 2.
I definitely could see this all falling apart with him and him winding up with nobody.
It started when Hannah B came back or whatever. Like when she came back and group date, and they were all pissed off. Yeah.
So after the Madison date, they make out, and it's clear that my favorite thing is when he says, "I love you." Now, if you're one of the other contestants and you see that, So if he doesn't pick Madison, he's screwed.
I would be out.
Because if she goes back and like tells them or something.
So we totally skipped over Natasha.
Well, let's talk about Natasha. So, you see this rose here, Mackenzie? This rose that you want from me?
Yes,
Yeah, this one, this one, this one. You see this rose
Wait a
right
minute,
here?
that
See
rose? That one?
This one right here?
That rose?
Yeah, you're not getting it. That's exactly what he did to her. I mean, he goes on a one lame ass date with the girl, the city date. Whenever you go on a city date, there's no making out. There's no I'm gonna lay on top of you like on a boat or anything, and it was lame.
She had slid into my number 2 spot too. Natasha was my number 2. Yes. She was my number 2.
Any chance she could be the Bachelor? Bachelorette? Any chance?
We both talk about that. We could
Get the paperwork. We got the paperwork to fill out for you. I mean, y'all can fill it out.
Y'all can come on the Bachelor if you want. We'll fill it out. We already did for Hannah and Ashton.
I heard about that.
Y'all really? No.
But I think Natasha is tailor-made for Paradise.
Oh, yeah.
She's totally going to be on Paradise. So then the Kelsey one on. I mean, did y'all even watch that?
I was making dinner during that. I was like, it's just the same thing.
So is it not amazing how Kelsey and Hannah Ann now are best friends?
Which he did call her Chelsea.
Oh,
Did he call her
yeah.
Chelsea
Didn't
once?
they?
But are they like a
They
best
had
friends?
the whole.
Yeah, they were champagne gay.
Yeah.
There's no more
I
champagne gay.
forgot.
That's all.
They were
over
laying
with.
up in the bed. Was that them laying all up in the bed?
Yeah.
And when,
Chit-chatting?
Hannah Ann came back, or whatever her name is, they all hugged like she was excited to see her. I was like,
tell.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
that's crazy.
Yeah,
They were
the one
so
that came back,
excited.
they're like, yeah, Kelly's not
So
here.
the Bachelor's best line of the whole night was, I haven't seen this kind of grace and what was it? He said grace and strength in a woman in such a long time. And I'm like, did you forget about the woman blowing champagne up her nose? What was graceful about that?
And crying every
This was the
5
first
minutes.
episode. I think did she make it the whole episode without crying?
Yeah, she didn't cry this episode.
She almost did
She
when they
almost
sat
did.
down and he was like, look at you, you're not crying. He said something like that.
okay,
She was like,
thank
well,
you.
I don't.
I mean, that's kind of insulting to the woman. It's like all you do is cry. And second of all, it's like, hey, that's what we're going to build our relationship on, is that you made it one day without crying.
Yeah.
That's like you do with your child. Every time your child misbehaves or talks, you put like it on a little calendar. You've got 5 misbehaves before you get in trouble.
Right.
And so now they're at that point. So by the way, Natasha went home. So we're down to a triple date. We only had 3 people left. We were down to what? Hannah Ann, Crazy Victoria, and Kelly, who was quite confident she was getting the rose.
You know what? I knew
I'm a lawyer.
I knew
I'm a
that was
lawyer,
gonna
she
happen.
said. I knew when she said that I'm a lawyer with their children, she was done.
As soon as she got cocky,
that was-
because I thought I had Victoria going home. I was like,
Me
man, she's
too.
gone.
But did y'all see the date card? I thought the date card was absolutely hilarious. It said, tomorrow won't be easy. I mean, what an ass. Tomorrow won't be easy. I mean, hey, let's just make you even more nervous about this terrible 3-on-1 date. It's never ever gone well on a Bachelor, a 3-on-1 date. It's always very bad. So, of course, he
He
pulls...
should have just said, one of you idiots are going home.
Right.
Yeah.
That's basically what the
That's what
card
he was saying.
That's basically what the card said. So he pulls over Hannah Ann and first, because he had to make sure Hannah Ann's still okay for the fantasy date. Because that's what he's really looking at Hannah Ann for. She's a fantasy date girl.
She's
And
not even hot.
She did not look good in that outfit she was in. I have to
We
admit.
said that too.
I said,
we were like, the
her
shoes don't go with the shirt.
And she's like a model, and she's like an
Yeah.
Instagrammer. It's like, dude, I mean, you know what she needed? She needed, what's her name? Kelsey, who is a clothier, whatever the hell that means,
Yes.
to clothe her.
Clothing.
Right.
I mean, it was crazy. So then Kelly comes up. Now we're into our third. She's stretched out on the couch. She's excited. You
She
know,
was so confident.
Do you think she was confident or drunk?
Probably both.
But, so she walks off, and those white mom jeans do not work.
The white on white didn't work.
The white mom jeans do
Dude,
not
mom
work.
jeans don't
Kelly,
work with
but-
anything. We've talked about
We
this
don't
on
like mom
3
jeans.
episodes.
Yeah. So he's now talking to Kelly. She's like, you know, hey, we can have fun. This is all good. There's nothing wrong with
Yeah,
this.
like a
And
normal
like a normal
girl.
relationship, like what normal people do. And he's like, oh hell no, I have nothing to do with this.
No.
I don't want.
I like she was kind of making fun of him. She was like, "Did my word fun scare you?" Like I think she was over it at this point. Like she was like, "Sitting
Yeah.
home."
So you thought she might have known she was going home?
No,
and didn't
yeah,
really
I
care.
could tell she literally like. And then even when she got in the car, she was literally just like, "This is stupid." Like
I think she kind of wanted to go home.
Yeah,
at that
she's
point.
like, I'm
if he
over-
was going to entertain these other girls, she was like,
I think she
Yeah.
put on the front, the whole cocky front, because she knew she was going, and
She didn't
then
want to seem like
She said,
scared.
yeah.
She was pretty funny when she left. She goes, "You need to work some things out." It's
Yeah,
like,
yes,
you need
no.
therapy, buddy. You need to go to your therapist.
but they totally. I mean, I was sitting there going, "Yep, bye, Victoria."
So
Holla.
Victoria sits down, and the first thing he says, because he's all about drama, is, "What are we going to talk about last time? We got to really talk about this last, let's beat this dead horse of our last conversation. Why don't we go back to Chase Rice and talk about him some more?" Because, and she's like, "Dude, are we really going to do this again?"
Yeah.
You're always in a mood.
We literally knew because it showed her, and she was like, I'm already in a bad mood today, so I know this conversation is gonna go well.
Yeah.
Like she literally is like, how am I gonna make a fight today? Like how am I gonna argue with
That's
him?
what it
Right.
seems like.
And the whole time he's sitting there looking at her, telling her how much he likes her, she's like,
Oh,
We
I
said-
was saying
Mac was
that.
like,
She can't even
"Look
make
at
eye
him."
contact. That bothers me so
I think she's disgusted with him.
Yeah.
Because he's like doing this, going, "I really, really like you," and she's like,
She's like,
"Yeah, where's the
I just don't
producer?
know."
Is the producer here?" I mean,
She was ready to go.
I need a
She was
drink.
ready to
Somebody
go.
got a
She was ready to go
beer.
home.
But then he takes her to the car and she grabs his arm and she goes, I don't want to go home.
because she has a little whiny crying
Yeah.
voice. That's
Yeah,
all she
it's
can
more
do.
like
She does her
TV
little
Oh, I didn't see her say
voice.
that. I didn't see her.
Yeah, she needs more. She needs more
goes
time.
up to
Please don't make me go. She literally
Please
said that. I was
make
like,
me
you
go.
literally just said
In the
your
little
movie.
baby voice.
Also, I was saying nobody ever fights on The Bachelor. It's supposed to be this perfect
Right.
world, and they're already yelling at each other.
Yeah, because-
Imagine right when they get
This
they
is
would not
supposed to be
last
the
a
happy,
second.
That happened last week.
honeymoon.
Him and Kelly happened last week.
I think
She was
that
sitting there going,
if he
nope,
picked
nope.
Victoria, it'd be over before the first rose. Or the final
Yeah.
rose.
Right when the cameras
Yeah.
go off, they'd start yelling about the dishes.
Yeah.
I mean, you're supposed to in The Bachelor is supposed to be like fantasy because it's like when you meet a boy when you guys meet a boy at the beach. It's like,
honeymoon
oh, they're so
stage,
great, they're so
yeah.
great. And then you get home and you're like, this dude sucks.
But if they're already like this, there's no way.
Yeah, I mean, he's flying you all over the world in private airplanes and all this. When you get back to Iowa or wherever the hell you're from, I mean, and it's like, hey, do you want to go to Chili's or do you want to go to
And she starts yelling at him. For
Yeah.
being moody.
Zaxby's for dinner? And then she's like, you're being moody. Why can't you make a decision about which chicken sandwich place we're going to eat? But yeah, so he keeps Victoria, which was very surprising. The girls were laughing.
Shocking.
And then in front of the two of them, he's like got Hannah Ann and he's got Kelly. And he's like, you're a wonderful girl. I really like you. I really, really like you. And by the way, I really like you. So, but I
Did you
don't
see
like
how
you as
close-
much as you, so I'm going to give it to you. And it's like, dude, are
The
you
rose
serious?
was right here. It was they were like,
Yeah.
yeah, we did have a good time. It was all in their face.
I wish Kelly would have just picked the rose up and broke it and said,
Me
"Give it to
too.
her. I'm out of here, dude." I mean, it was
should have just
absolutely
slapped him with the
awful.
rose. Just slapped him with it.
Yeah. So the show ends, and you're like, "Well, that was a really complete waste of 2 hours of my life," which is usually how it is most nights. But it redeemed itself
The
with
preview.
2 minutes of preview.
Yeah.
Yes, I was
So
like,
what
that
about the
was-
previews? What do
I
you think?
didn't watch them. Sorry.
Dude, you missed
That
it.
was the best part of the whole show.
That was the only part of the show. What did you see in the previews? So tell us what you got. What you
Okay,
got
well, we kind of have a theory going on.
Yeah, we do.
So here's what we think's gonna happen. We think they're gonna get to he's gonna take everybody home, and then when it comes to fantasy suite, we think Madison's gonna pick up and leave and just be like, because remember how she was like, I don't want you sleeping with other people.
We think
or,
he's
Which he's
gonna
gonna.
sleep with
He's
someone.
gonna, and
Oh, he
then
is. No doubt about it.
Madison's gonna be freaked out and pissed off and leave, and then we think, how the Peter's mom is like,
Yeah, that's what we were.
we think it's about
Bring her
Madison.
home.
Like,
Bring her
The only person she
Yeah.
would know to bring home would be
Madison.
Madison.
and then we think he's about to pick Hannah Ann, and then Madison comes back, and then he's like, oh my gosh. But we don't know, what did it say? It said something, this is the worst thing that could have happened, like the producers tell him
Oh,
something.
yeah. They tell him something right before he's about to propose, I think.
So you know what I think? So I think Peter gets Hannah Ann pregnant.
You said,
I said that.
You said
I think-
that.
I'm following
I think
Instagram.
Hannah
She's
Ann
not
gets pregnant.
No
They
way.
come in and
I
tell him he's
said, I
pregnant.
bet you they're gonna tell.
I think somebody from his
He got
past
some
is
Madison
pregnant.
leaves.
That could
said
happen.
that
What
last
now?
night.
Somebody from his past could be pregnant. Because we were like, maybe the time frame wouldn't work out for one of them to be pregnant.
Yeah.
The Bachelor's
right?
going to turn into a Maury Povich show. That's
Well,
a
you know,
Kamari show.
the big rumor is that he's
are
been having a
fine.
relationship with one of the
Producers,
producers.
I saw that article.
And she's
saw that
hot.
too.
I mean, she really is a
She's
pretty
been
girl.
out with his family. Like, his family posted a picture with the
Yeah.
producer.
She's the only
I
one that
listened to that
follows
article.
all of them on social media.
Yeah, and
But it wouldn't be the
New
obvious,
Year's
though.
at New Year's at in New York, she put a poster of herself up, and he's in the background, kind of turned away, not trying to be in the camera. And Hannah Brown said, "I approve." I think you guys are right. I think what's going to happen though, I think it's going to be down to Madison and Hannah Ann, and right before the final, she's going to be realizing this guy's not religious. My daddy hates his ass. He had the sex with other people the night
sex.
before, and that's what Colton used to call it, the sex. And so she says,
I miss
"I'm out."
Colton.
And so he's like, "Okay, well, I guess all I can do is ask Hannah Ann to marry me." So he's going to go ask Hannah Ann to marry him, and then the worst thing that could happen is
And
Madison's going to pop in right at the last minute, right before he's supposed
He's going to have to
ask
marry
him.
Hannah Ann because
So-
Hannah Ann's pregnant.
The rumor is he doesn't
too.
ask either one of them. That he's going to do it live on the show.
Oh, of course, he would drag it out.
Yes, because he's indecisive.
Yeah.
He could say, I love you, but I can't make a decision. Give me 3 weeks to sleep on it. That could happen too.
Ladies, do not think all men act like him because
No.
we don't act
And
like
Peter, if you're listening, you need therapy, dude. Need therapy. All
Yeah,
right.
I could be a better bachelor than him. I mean, he's like, because I'd be like, whatever.
A 14-year-old
I mean,
boy could be a better bachelor than him. They're more decisive than his dudes.
I'm going on the Bachelor show here in Columbia. Do you know that? I'm totally
No. All
totally
right.
good.
Well, all right. So now we're at the most important part of the show, ladies. Chris, the final rose tonight. Chris, when you're ready.
Anna, you know I've been nothing but honest with you. I've enjoyed our time that we spent together, and you know I know it's been a tough week. I know it's been tough on you, but you know it's I mean, I really do have strong feelings for you, and you know, what are your thoughts?
Well, I just think you're super moody, and I just don't know if I like you, and I just don't know if I should be here.
Mackenzie,
Yes.
I've had a great time this week getting to know you, getting to know your family. You know, this is a very tough decision for me, and you know, I just want to get your thoughts on you being here on the show.
I love being here. I feel like we have a really strong connection, and I would just love to get this rose tonight.
I feel the same way. I feel the same way. Anna, will you accept this rose?
Fine.
Bye, Mackenzie.